So we are going to begin. Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to our Mid-Cities meeting special session held today. Today's topic is Mid-Cities for Peace, the impact of local fake news and hate speech on social and community violence. In this session, we will explore an important and urgent question. Does the speed of local misinformation increase the risk of violence and community conflict? Within the theoretical framework of the Mid-Cities Initiative, we will examine how local fake news affect social cohesion, public trust, and community stability. More importantly, we will discuss practical strategies to strengthen resilience through media and information literacy policies and initiatives. Our format include short expert intervention, followed by a panel discussion and an interactive question answer session. Your participation is highly valued, and we encourage you to share your reflection in the discussion. I am honored today to co-moderate this session alongside Professor Felipe Chibás Ortiz, and we are very privileged to welcome our outside panel international experts join us today. Thank you so much, Professor Linda Pagani, to be here together with us. Thank you so much, Professor Anna Thomas Williams. Thank you so much, Dr. Professor Dinesh from India. Thank you, Professor Daniela Calderon and Dr. Professor Pastorino Agnes. Before I give the floor to the first speaker, I will give the floor to Professor Felipe for his welcome word. Professor Felipe, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, dear Professor Emmanuel Komi Kounakou. It's a real honor to be here and work together with you and the other colleagues. I am Professor Dr. Felipe Chibás Ortiz, PhD, and coordinator of the International Center for Innovation and Development of Mid-Cities from University of São Paulo. I am really happy to be here with these wonderful panelists. Thank you so much for your presence and for share your knowledge with us. The objective of the meeting is to analyze the relationships between local misinformation, infodemic, and community violence, as well as to identify practical strategies of media and information literacy that cities can implement to strengthen resilience against fake news, deepfakes, hate speech, and other negative phenomena. Participants will gain actionable insights into building Pacific, safer, informed, and cohesive communities with principles of mid-cities or media and information literacy cities. Are you welcome, my friends and colleagues, dear colleagues? You got the flow. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Felipe, for your welcome introduction. And we are going to start. Before I give the floor to our first speaker, guest, let me introduce her with a short biography. Yeah, Professor Linda Pagani is a clinical psychologist, researcher, and full professor at the École de Psychoéducation, Université de Montréal. She is also a senior researcher at the Centre de recherche du Centre hospitalier universitaire Sainte-Justine, Brain Health Division, where she contributes to interdisciplinary research on children and adolescent development. After beginning her career as a registered nurse, she earned a bachelor in psychology from Concordia University and her master and PhD in education and counseling psychology from McGill University, followed by postdoctoral training in longitudinal human development research at the University de Montréal. Her work focuses on identifying early life factors that influence long-term cognitive and socio-emotional development, including screen time, lifestyle habits, and family environment. Through her research, she has informed public health and education policy in Canada and international, bringing psychology, education, and public health. Professor Pagani brings essential insight into renew moral and ethical foundation in primary and secondary education in the age of artificial intelligence. Professor Pagani, you have the floor.
Thank you so much. I'm very flattered to be here, and I'm very grateful to you, Komi, for preparing this. I'm going to share the screen, and I'm not going to waste any time whatsoever, so that we can have more time together. Hold on a second. I need to see where. There it is. Okay, perfect. So the title of my talk, it's the title of my next 8 minutes is Moral and Ethical Education in the Age of AI, Renewing Foundational Principles in Primary and Secondary Curricula. I was preparing for this. I only knew about doing this a few days ago, and I got very interested in the whole topic of peace AI. And I found this interesting article that was very related to my work in a strange way. First of all, we know that AI and peace AI offers international opportunities for peace, security, shaping how conflicts are now fought and how they are resolved in fragile contexts. It's more on an individual or populational level than with government. There's this whole thing about implementation of ethical, inclusive, and culture context specific peace AI that would equip peace builders and decision makers to make informed, value-driven choices. There's a few facts that I found really interesting. One is that the risks that are associated with undermining the potential of AI to strengthen peace. There's several risk factors, and there are two of them that are particularly flagrant. One is algorithmic bias, and the other is data misuse. And then there's the facilitators of trust and peace AI effectiveness, and that would be cognitive, social, and moral skills in the population. That brings me to how we educate the population, because today's students in primary and secondary school are tomorrow's citizens. And we basically often think about reading, writing, and arithmetic, but today's curriculum needs to evolve way beyond these things, because we are now in an AI environment where there's a lot of cognitive offloading. I myself, when I was in primary school, I lived the age of the calculator. Well, today the calculator is now the AI. And so moral education has become an issue that a lot of people don't realize is strongly related to personal ethics and how we reason. Just a quick education about moral development. There's someone named Lawrence Kohlberg that studied this a long time ago in the 60s. And he came up with a fantastic theory that explains how we develop moral development and moral skills and our perception of ethics. Basically, from age 3 to 7, We're basically in a stage where we call pre-conventional reasoning, where moral reasonings based on reward and punishment. And then we go to another stage between ages 8 and 13 that is more conventional, and it's based on external ethics, which is often following the rules of society, the laws in society. And then we go to the post-conventional, where moral reasoning is more based on personal ethics. And we move from, for example, this whole idea of law and order to a higher level of entertaining human rights and the purpose of laws, to a more abstract way of interpreting things, where our own moral analysis of things is more important than law and order. In schools, but also in research, there's these different dilemmas that are used. The stealing bread dilemma is often used. I'm going to show you this just as an example of how we can teach moral and ethical education in primary and secondary schools, and we don't, unfortunately. But there's a lot of research on schools that do use this and schools that do implement this. And so basically the stealing bread dilemma is a great example. So in primary school, children in primary school are increasingly good at concrete reasoning. The stealing bread and other dilemmas can be used to discuss why rules exist, why people sometimes break rules for compassionate reasons, how we decide what's fair. These are discussions that young children can have. In secondary school, we have, secondary school involves kids starting age 12 to about age 18. Adolescents are capable of abstract reasoning, which means that they can compare law and order with, the more post-conventional reasoning of social contract. And so they could debate over whether saving a life overrides property laws and things like that. So the stealing bread dilemma is a dilemma that's really good to discuss the 6 stages and how moral reasoning develops and how people justify the same action differently. The stealing bread dilemma is something that we often talk about in research, but also just the idea, if I explain it to you quickly, you discuss whether stealing bread, if you have to feed your children, whether it's a good thing or not. And different ages, children are going to have different interpretations, but we can push that zone of understanding by having open debate in classrooms across the nations, so that we can boost their ability to deal with issues related to peace AI. So there's other kinds of there are other kinds of dilemmas that are very useful, that help with critical thinking and ethical literacy. There are dilemmas related to cheating on a test to help a friend, reporting bullying when the bully's a friend, returning a lost wallet with money inside, excluding someone from a group activity. Is that a good thing, a bad thing? These things, if we just teach reading, writing, and arithmetic and how to use a computer and how to use ChatGPT in schools, that's just not enough. I think that we need to go back to the basics of moral and ethical education, which is good for all the other elements of cognitive skills. In the digital era I'm about to end with, we can use also other kinds of dilemmas, like sharing a photo, forwarding misinformation, cyberbullying in a group chat, using unauthorized AI to complete assignments. Is that good or bad? Deciding whether to report hate speech online. So I'm going to end there, but my basic point is peace AI is much like water will be the next water. AI currently is the war weapon. but the next weapon will be water. And while we're dealing with AI, I think that if we consider that children in schools and high schools and primary schools are the next decision makers, both on an individual level and a populational level, I think that we need to go back to the basics in moral education. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Linda Pagani, for your exciting presentation. You go through moral and ethical development through stages of our society, and you focus your speech on the hate information people, especially children, can face using technology. Before I give the floor to the second speaker, I will give the floor to Professor Felipe for his comment. Thank you so much, Professor.
Thank you so much, Professor Emmanuel Komi Kounakou. Thank you, Professor Linda. I like so much of your presentation. My principal comment or contribution is about this. Moral education is fundamental, but UNESCO have on moral education have a list or grade with 6 values for media and information literacy. And these values are fundamental to develop, for example, dilemmas. And this technique with dilemmas is essential to this kind of education. Ethical education is with AI, of course, is fundamental to develop media and information literacy models. Thank you so much for your contribution, Professor. Your contributions are very serious and very strong. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Felipe, for your comment and contribution. Yeah, we continue, and our second speaker is Professor Dr. Anna Cloutier-Tomé from USA. Dr. Anna Cloutier-Tomé Williams is a professor of instruction and director of the Portuguese language program at Northwestern University, USA. She holds a master's degree and PhD in linguistics from the University of Sao Paulo. Her research focuses on intercultural communication, social affective dimension of language learning, linguistic ecosystem, and the integration of technology into foreign language pedagogy. She is the author of numerous academic articles and of the book O Jogo Narrado, a comparative study of soccer broadcast narrative in France and Brazil. She also co-organized a volume of Addressing Global Challenge and Innovation in Portuguese language teaching during the pandemic. Professor Anna Tomé Williams has developed collaborative exchange projects that connect her students with peers in Brazil and across the Portuguese-speaking world. Professor Anna, you have the floor.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you all and to discuss such an important matter. I prepared some slides. Let me see if I can.
Yes, you can
get
share.
them. Here they are. So I was thinking of the title of this, thinking the title as of title of the being with the media and information literacy. Cities, that the impact of local fake news and hate speech on social and community violence. When I was thinking about this, I was discussing openly with even my husband, who deals with neuroscience, to understand more what's behind it. And I want to talk about that and talk about how we could also, I was so, I was very much interested in knowing about the research on AI that is important to know about this too. But when we think about fake news and we think about, does it happen because of technology? We know that technology spread fake news. Like we don't know what's true or false these days, right? Because AI is so well developed that we think, is this real or this is false? Can I share this or should I avoid? But then it goes back to the human condition, right? And if we think about that, oops, how the human condition, what we have today is very powerful, but what we are and who we are, how we are going to deal with information or maybe disinformation. And I was thinking about the viral anatomy of sharing wrong information. Same roots, the three cases in the history, same roots. Misinformation or disinformation. Today we call lie disinformation because disinformation has the strong purpose of making people believe in what's wrong, knowing that this is really wrong. And misinformation is, well, I didn't know it was wrong. I didn't understand that thing very well. So I passed this information believing it was right. So I thought, even in biblical times, we had already the fake news, right? When a queen decided that she wanted piece of land and created false witnesses and a public decree to convince the neighbor to sell the property. Then I remembered before the spread of technology, 94, and those who are Brazilians here might be remember this case. Escola Base, 94, when the traditional media spread wrong news of a couple who they were the leaders of that school, and the school had to close because of fake news about the school. But it was too late. But now there's a digital explosion and things can turn so bad. And I remembered about some stories in Brazil and here in Kenosha in the United States where because of just a click on your cell phone, you spread lies. And in Brazil, this lady, driven by Facebook rumors, she was killed. She was taken as a predator, and she was not. She was just walking in the street, and 100 people were doing things against her. We don't want this to happen in our cities. We want good information with media. And here in Kenosha as well, when they said, oh, there is a Black Lives Matters bus with Antifa going to attack the city. So this was spread wrongly on the news using technology, because now we are afraid about technology. But I'm going to expose a little bit now. What's the core truth? Fake news isn't a tech problem, it's a trust and fear problem. Technology spreads the news faster and powerfully, but we can maybe use now technology to cut the roots of that, to educate, to try to solve this before worse things happen. Because with technology, everything is possible now. Everything is true, a true fact. Even now today, the news says that young adults, the future of the news. I don't know if I can share this. I don't know if it's possible to. Are you seeing my? Well, this link I can leave there. This is for today, young people, how do they get the news? They get the news today through social media. It's not even the newspaper that they read online, good sources, good references. No, people today, young people today, their news comes from social media, and social media is a danger because people there are not really journalists, can be everyone, right? Let me go back to here. So now, why? Sorry. How can we think about the brain? Sorry, let me go back here. So how can we prioritize? How do people prioritize bad news? That's the thing. And this is related to the brain. Why? And then the brain. Our brain wants to protect us. It's wired for survival. So our attention is focused on threats. And this goes, this can happen. I need to take something about this, to take a very good decision about this. So we sometimes, and that's a problem when we are asked from the media to act fast. We have to act fast. Whenever you have to act fast, the brain wants to protect you against any bad thing. So we act fast sometimes without thinking, and then we spread bad news. Because bad news sell better than good news on our newspapers, on our everything, on our social media. Bad news gets more clicks, more links, and that's what people without good intentions wanted to do. Click there and keep spreading the bad news. Common fears form a community, but also blind them. And that's the problem we have in our cities. When everyone believes something wrong. And then I was discussing with my husband, who works with the neuroscience. We have the amygdala that, our amygdala, the brain's alarm triggers fight or flight. You have to do this. That the brain starts to believe about for that thing. There's illusion truth effect. And the humanization. Why? When chronic exposure to local hate speech shrinks our empathy. We stop seeing something or someone as a neighbor. We just think that this neighbor is a threat and needs to be removed. That this thing goes very strongly in our brain, and you need to control that. And then, how can we calm our thoughts? How can we calm our thoughts? There gets AI too. We need education in AI because, first of all, maybe you have thought about that idea. The 6 to 10 seconds, so the prefrontal cortex can re-engage. Think at least 6 seconds. And also, think, is this a true thing? There is faithful in this? Is this going to improve my life? Is it going to improve my neighbor's life, people around me? So there are facts that you need to check. And then, of course, and this you have to importance, and then it goes back to school too, to teach and develop good habits. We can use AI to socialize, not only to be inside in a very positive way with other people. And now I'm finishing. What's the plan? The action plan that we can take within the media information literacy cities. And then I thought about these 6 actions that we can take with or without AI. But when we have AI to help calm down our thoughts, think clearly, when we have AI also to help us build a sense of community, a sense of responsibility. So build local and early warning, rapid response systems, strengthen community capacities through media information literacy. How can everyone in the city be connected, checking facts in a positive way? Reinforce trust building communication. This is really trustful. How are you sure about this? Support community-led conflict prevention networks. How can you have networks to prevent the conflict? And using technology responsibly, education at schools, exactly as we just mentioned that. So how important it is to be well educated before taking an action, and also promote social cohesion and resilience. We can do this in a very human way, making sure we are people behind any tools and AI, and then we can calm down people's thoughts. So that's what I I wanted to say. True information is the first step for peace building, and so we can go ahead and build better lives. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Professor Anna Clotilde Williams, for your presentation. Yes, you have focused on many things. May I have written three that we need to educate today again our brain because it is the the core of our life. If you can control our brain, we can avoid many fear of technology hurt. Before I give the floor to the next speaker, Professor Felipe, do you have something to
Yes.
add?
Yes. I like to do some comments.
Yes.
I quickly, of course, Professor Ana Clotilde, thank you so much for your contribution. Of course, I like so much your questions. Your questions got a new questions on the cities or on media information literacy model or paradigm. We live today at the hybrid reality with hybrid because it's a physical and digital reality. And we have now new questions, new new challenge too. Your questions are very important at this reality and today, of course. And I like so much your 6 actions points. The second point, you talk about competence, about abilities. UNESCO have a curriculum with competence on many cities. These competence, this curriculum of competence are very important because it's a map to develop different actions. Well, promote confidence is important too. Is necessary a point with the affective word with the cognitive word, and confidence is the point, is the bridge for this. Thank you so much for your contribution, dear professor. We are together again.
Thank you, Professor Felipe, for your comment. Precious comment on her communication. We continue. Yeah, the next guest we have is from Mexico. Professor Daniela Carledo Porter is a cultural heritage and public sector leader from Mexico, known for her work in cultural promotion and community development. She has served as General Director of Cultural Heritage for the Secretary of Culture and the government of the state of Puebla, where she has been involved in initiative linking cultural preservation with education, civic engagement, and public policy. Dr. Carledo Potter has also participated in international forums such as Global Media and Information Literacy Week, representing Mexico in conservation about media literacy, culture, and urban innovation within the UNESCO framework, including panel discussion on major cities and sustainable development metric. Professor Dr. Daniela, you are welcome, and you have the floor.
Thank you so much. Well, I have an slides, but I don't know what's happening. I can share the
Yes,
the
you can share the screen.
presentation.
Yes, you can share.
I think it's not possible.
Okay.
I don't know why, but
Okay.
well, I have it here, so I can read it for you.
Okay, thank you.
Well, my title is, as you already know, Mill Cities for the Peace, the impact of local fake news and hate community violence. Well, I'm from Mexico, Puebla, and I'm going to talk about the local impact of fake news and community violence in Mexico. Today, I would like to address a phenomenon that is deeply affecting urban governance in Mexico: the relationship between the local disinformation and the community violence, and how UNESCO Mill cities, media and information literacy cities, can framework and become a concrete strategy for peace building. The problem here in Mexico, we have a localized disinformation and community violence. Why? We have a lot of fake news, and it's not merely an abstract and digital phenomenon. It is territorial, its targets specific in neighborhoods, municipalities, and communities. A critical example that we can show to you is particularly the case of Acatzingo, where rumors spreads through WhatsApp and Facebook falsely accuse individuals of child abduction. The information was not verified. The result was collective violence and lynching. A similar case in San Martin Texmelucan, where it's change and disinformation, it was like a social panic and physical aggression. This case revealed three clear dynamics. One, digital hyperspread, information circulates faster than the institution can control. A structural disturb toward location authorities, emotionalization of digital public sphere, where faces replace evidence. It includes where inequality, insecurity, and social fragmentation already exist. Disinformation acts like catalysis for violence. Here we have a Mexican context for the information. Communicational violence in Mexico is not just physical, it is also symbologist and communicational. Social media platforms amplify hate narratives, stigmatization of migrant communities, municipal level electoral disinformation, rumors during public health or security crisis. During the pandemic, for example, we have a lot of false information between the people and the security and the hospital about health. Hospitals contagion rates circulate in multiple cities, weakening public trust. So people, instead of saying, okay, I'm secure because I know the information that is correct, people didn't know about what is happening about the crisis with health. In this sense, disinformation erodes three pillars of the urban governance: institutional trust, social cohesion, and public response of capacity. The point three is mill cities as a framework for urban resilience. This is where UNESCO Mill Cities model becomes like an strategical relevant. We have already implement a lot of tools that Mill cities can promote to the cities. A Mill city does not simplify to promote digital literacy in school. It integrates media and information literacy to municipality public policies, citizen participation strategies, crisis communication protocols, and community-based in programs. In Mexican context, this will simplify to territorialize communication and education, programs in highly vulnerable neighborhoods to teach, how to verify sources, how to identify emotional manipulation, that is very common in Mexico, how to report false content. Early warning systems collaboration with universities, social and civil society, monitor local disinformation trends before they escalate into violence. Also, we need to be so clear and to transparent public communication with authorities, respond to quickly verifiably data that so they can reduce the space of speculation. Also, with technology, ethics, and governance, the use of artificial intelligence (AI) tools to detect information patterns can be useful, but it must be accompanied with data protection, transparency, and civic oversight. So their solution cannot be just an ethical governance. So we have to involve the society. Mexico is a very, very resilient city. As you know, Mexico has a lot of opportunities to grow. So many cities have strong public universities here, cultural networks, active civil society organizations. If these capacities can articulate under Mill framework, media and literacy can become an urban space policy. Also, the challenge is not only combat fake news, it is to rebuild the trust to become uh, a city that we can foment to the child the security and the tools to work with this society and with with the with the things that we are proposing. Also, the information here, if we become violent, the city becomes fragile. So when citizens develop the critical thinking, the city becomes more resilient. Mill cities offer practical framework to transform media and information literacy into social infrastructure. So if we want peaceful, safe, and cohesive cities in Mexico, we must recognize that communication is also territorial. And the urban peace begins with quality of information circulating with our communities. Thank you so much.
Don't listen you. Please, Professor Emmanuel.
Oh,
I don't listen.
sorry. Yeah, thank you so much, Professor Daniela Carledo Potter, for your communication. You have focused your stage on the local fake news in Mexico. And I have written one word that if information is violent, the city became fragile. Yeah, you are right. This is why
Thank
we are
you.
here together to share
Yes.
our knowledge and know how we can manage information for everyone. Before I give the floor to the next, I will give 1 minute to Professor Felipe for his comment. After the everyone speak, we have a time to go through our communications. Professor Felipe, you have the floor.
Thank you, Professor Emmanuel. Thank you, Daniela Calderon, for your very serious and important words Puebla city of Puebla city, is a special city because it have in this space many cultures, many different cultures. And Daniela Calderon is a researcher, is a government. She worked like a director, cultural director, and her work is very important because she is a researcher too. She implements with other researchers and the policy groups public policies on culture with this vision, mill vision or mill city vision. This is very important because the transformation of the cities is for this line with public policies. She talked about the crisis with the health. Culture is of course is to link it with the health because with the 19 COVID crisis, we got many fake news in Mexico, in Brazil, and around the world. And we need, of course, this different vision, many city visions. Well, the education for the people is cross with the public policies. Well, thank you so much for your contribution. You are with us for many different events, and of course, we let's continue in this line. Thank you so much, Daniela.
Thank you so much, Felipe.
Thank you, Professor Felipe. Thank you, Professor Daniela. The next speaker, our expert, is coming from India. Professor Dr. Dinesh Babu has his PhD and he is an assistant professor senior grade and head of the Department of Visual and Media and Communication at Amrita Visual Koshi Campus, India. His academic journey includes a PhD in mass communication and journalism with a specialization in animation studies along with advanced degree in communication and e-media. Dr. Babu's teaching and research span communication studies, new and social media, journalism, infographics, environment and health communication, and development communication. He also coordinates the Artificial Intelligence for Major Global Research Association at Amrita and serves as a focal point for UNESCO Major Alliance and Main Cities Initiative in Kochi, reflecting his active engagement in global media literacy and digital communication network. Professor Dinesh, you have the floor.
Yes, good day to all of you, and I'm very happy again meeting my friends, Dr. Emmanuel and Professor Felipe. And I also met Daniela in the previous sessions and all. And hello to everyone for my new friends. And today, yes, today we are going to discuss about the ML cities for peace, the impact of local fake news and hate speech on social and community violence. So in recent years, we have witnessed how misinformation, especially at the local level, does not merely mislead, it destabilizes. It fractures the neighborhoods, erodes trust, and in extreme cases, transform the digital rumors into a physical violence. Today, I will speak about artificial intelligence and early warning systems, how AI can serve as protective civic infrastructure within media and information literacy cities. So the changing nature of local misinformation, as what I told, traditionally misinformation was national or global in scale. Today, it is hyper-local. It targets specific neighborhoods, religious communities, linguistic groups, or a migrant population. A manipulated video claiming on an incident in a small locality can circulate within minutes through a WhatsApp groups, community forums, or geo-targeted social media feeds. Why is local fake news so dangerous? Because it appeals to proximity, it feels immediate, it triggers identity-based emotions, fear, anger, and outrage. And when misinformation connects to identity, it spreads faster with a greater intensity. In such a context, media information literacy is not an optional, it is essential civic infrastructure. But human literacy alone is not sufficient. We now require a technological intelligence to support human judgment. A double-edged sword. Artificial intelligence play two roles in this ecosystem. On one side, AI amplifies risk like deepfakes, synthetic voice manipulation, automated bot networks, algorithm echo chambers. On other side, AI provides us unprecedented tools for detection, prediction, and prevention. The question before an ML cities is not whether to use AI, but how to use AI ethically and responsibly for a civic peace. Let me explain how AI can function as an early detection mechanism. First, NLP, natural language processing system can analyze thousands of posts in real time. These systems detect hate speech patterns, inflammatory keywords, or sudden spikes in emotionally charged narrative linked to specific geographical location. Second, machine learning models, which identify a coordinated behavior. For instance, when multiple newly created accounts begin sharing identical messages targeting a particular community, AI can flag it as suspicious amplification. Third is with geospatial analytics. Help a map misinformation flows. Imagine a digital dashboard that identifies a rumor originating in one bar and spreading across neighboring localities within hours. That pattern is not random, it is traceable. Fourth, AI-powered automated fact-checking systems can cross-reference the viral claims with verified database in seconds, reducing a responsible time dramatically. This is where we move from reactive governance to preventive governance. Early warning systems in ML cities. In the context of urban misinformation, has a four components. One is detection. AI identifies an unusual misinformation patterns. The second one is like risk assessment. Algorithms evaluate escalation of potential. And third is alert mechanism. Civic authorities and media partners are notified. Response strategy. Verified communication is released quickly to prevent a panic. Imagine a city-level civic peace dashboard where universities, cyber cells, local journalists, and community leaders collaborate. When AI detects escalating the hate narratives, a coordinated response is activated, official clarification, community outreach, and media correlation. In this model, AI does not replace the human agency, it augments it. And towards moving with ethical and privacy consideration, however, we must pause and reflect carefully. AI-based monitoring raises critically an ethical question. Where do we draw the line between monitoring and surveillance? Who governs the algorithm? How do we ensure freedom of expression is not compromised? The foundation must be a human in the loop governance. AI detects the pattern, human interpret intent, AI flags the risk, human ethics determine the response. In ML, cities must adopt a clear safeguards, minimal and anonymized data collection, transparent algorithm process, independent oversight committees, community accountability mechanism. Without ethical guardians, AI can erode instead of building it. AI and media literacy, a hybrid model. AI alone cannot prevent violence. Technology without literacy becomes authoritarian. Literacy without technology becomes slow and reactive. So ML cities must therefore integrate with media literacy education in schools and universities, public awareness campaigns on digital verification, community rumor reporting mechanisms, collaboration with civic bodies and local journalists, AI literacy training for policymakers. These are the things which the ML city has to do. So as it will be kind of AL and media literacy. When citizens understand both media manipulation and algorithm systems, resilience increases. Peace is not merely the absence of violence. It is the presence of informed citizenship. Towards the peaceful urban futures, in conclusion, if misinformation is spark, hate speech is fuel, and algorithmic amplification is wind, then AI-enabled early warning systems can be a fire break that prevents spread. MA cities are not just an educational initiatives, they are a democratic resilient models. Artificial intelligence, when ethically governed, can shift us from crisis response to crisis prevention. from reactive governance to anticipatory governance, from fragmented communities to informed, cohesive societies. The future of urban peace lies in combining a technological intelligence with human wisdom. Let us not see AI as a threat to democracy, but as tool to strengthen it, provide we anchor it firmly in ethics, transparency, and community participation. Thank you. I look forward to our discussion, and thanks once again with Felipe and Emmanuel and other friends who is joined here for hearing my insights on AI. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Professor Dinesh Babu, for your presentation. You have focused on many things in artificial intelligence, and I have written one word, one phrase, one sentence. You need to evaluate information and communication to prevent hurt, comportment, and problems in our society. Thank you so much. Professor Felipe, before you go to the last guest, the time is over. I will give you the floor. You are muted. Oh, maybe you have technical problems. Yes, we didn't hear you. No.
You are muted, Philip.
Felipe, Professor Felipe, you are muted. Okay, I need to. Okay. Ah, okay. Certainly, Professor Felipe has a serious problem, technical problem. Professor Linda, have we something to add? And before we go to the last.
No, I just want to say that I'm enlightened and in perfect agreement with the last presentation. I think that there are a lot of issues that are not even yet published in the literature about this. It's going so fast.
Yes.
That it's good to have these events. I know that it's Saturday morning and we could be doing other things like laundry, but it is a great way for us to all get together and get to know each other and create some kind of some kind of ability to collaborate. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Linda, for your comment. Yeah, we have our last guest, Professor Dr. Agnès Pastirino. She speaks well French, but today I will try to speak in English. Professor Agnès Pastirino is an accomplished social scientist, communication strategist, and researcher affiliated with Sorbonne University in Paris, France. She holds a PhD in sociology from Sorbonne University and a second PhD in social psychology from Sapienza University from Rome, reflecting her deep academic grounding in social science and behavior research. Dr. Pastorino served as an associate researcher at the Centre de recherche sur les liens sociaux at Sorbonne University, where she investigates digital communication, media dynamic, and social behavior. In addition to her academic role, she has collaborated with international organizations such as UNICEF and the World Health Organization, contributing her expertise in communication strategies, risk communication, and evidence-based policy development in humanitarian and public health context. Dr. Pastirino, you are welcome and you have the floor.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you, everybody. Let me share my screen.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Voila. Thank you to my distinguished colleagues and to everyone joining today. I would like to begin with a simple but urgent reflection. When fake news becomes local, violence becomes relational. We often analyze misinformation at national and geopolitical scale, but its most destabilizing effects are often visible at local level, where people know each other, where identities overlap, and where trust is lived daily. At local level, misinformation does not travel primarily through anonymous channels. It spreads to trusted networks, family chats, neighborhood WhatsApp groups, community pages, local radio, school conversations, religious spaces. And this is precisely why it is powerful. When misinformation circulates in these intimate ecosystems, it does not simply distort facts, it reshapes trust. And trust is the invisible infrastructure of any peaceful city. Hate speech at local level is rarely dramatic at first. It often begins subtly. Repetition, labeling, dehumanizing humor, suspicion normalized. Over time, these narratives create moral distance. And violence rarely begins with physical acts. It begins with the erosion of belonging. When certain groups are consistently framed as threats, burdens, or outsiders, social cohesion fractures. And once cohesion weakens, small tensions can escalate quickly. This is why local misinformation and hate speech are not peripheral issues. They are early warning signals of community destabilization. As Mahatma Gandhi reminded us, truth is God. For Gandhi, truth was not merely factual accuracy, it was moral alignment. When truth erodes, the ethical foundation of coexistence erodes with it. And in cities where diversity is often highest and tensions can be most immediate, truth is not abstract, it is structural. Today, artificial intelligence is accelerating these dynamics. Artificial intelligence can now generate hyper-local misinformation tailored to specific communities, produce deep fakes of local leaders, automate hate speech at scale, micro-target emotionally charged narratives. We are entering a moment in which misinformation is no longer human-generated rumor. It can be synthetic, scalable, personalized, and the boundary between online and offline consequences is increasingly porous. If a fabricated video circulates about a local official, if a manipulated narrative targets a specific ethnic or religious group within a city, if AI-generated content amplifies fear during moments of crisis, the impact is not virtual. It affects real relationships. AI does not create conflict by itself, but it can amplify existing grievances and accelerate polarization. This is why we must act now, not to reject technology, but to ensure it is governed ethically. We must invest in fact-checking mechanisms embedded at local level, transparent AI governance, digital literacy integrated into municipal strategies, and community-based monitoring systems, because technology without literacy widens vulnerability. Encouragingly, there are important policy developments. The UNESCO recommendation on the ethics of artificial intelligence calls for human-centered AI that protects dignity and democratic participation. The European Union's Digital Service Act requires platforms to mitigate systemic risks, including misinformation. The Pact for the Future, adopted within the United Nations system, reinforces commitments to responsible AI governance and multilateral cooperation. These frameworks are critical, but policy alone does not build peace. Cities operationalize policy. Municipalities translate principles into practice. Local actors turn regulation into resilience. There is another dimension we must consider. When we speak of cities, we often imagine physical space, streets, schools, public institutions. But today, cities also exist virtually. For many, especially younger generation, digital platforms are lived environments. They are places of identity formation, places of debate, places of belonging. In many ways, they are virtual cities. And what happens in these virtual cities does not stay there. Narratives staged in digital spaces spill into physical neighborhoods. Conflict flows across these boundaries. If misinformation spreads in a virtual gaming community, it may influence offline perceptions. If hate speech normalizes exclusion online, it may translate into discrimination offline. The line between digital and physical space is no longer stable. Therefore, male cities must operate across both dimensions. A city today includes its schools, its local media, its civic institutions, and its digital ecosystems. This building must extend into both physical and virtual spaces. Allow me to share a recent experience. I recently facilitated an AI literacy workshop with 90 young people aged 16 to 45, gathered in Geneva through the Youth Future Summit, an initiative of the Center for International Policy and Sustainability. What struck me most was not only their curiosity, it was their agency. They did not want to be passive recipients of information. They wanted to participate in the debate. They expressed clear opinions. They raised concerns. They challenged narratives. But most importantly, they wanted responsibility. Young people are not merely vulnerable to misinformation. They are potential co-regulators of digital environments. When given tools, they do not simply consume content, they shape the information ecosystems. This is why schools can no longer treat media and information literacy as optional, especially in the age of AI. Since 2020, in my collaboration with UNICEF, I've observed how education systems are central in building resilience against manipulation and polarization. Schools are not just places of instruction, they are civic incubators. If cities embed media and information literacy and AI literacy into curricula, teacher training and community engagement, they are not merely modernizing education. They are investing in long-term peace infrastructure. And I am proud to announce that starting from fall 2026, I will be teaching a course of digital literacy at the Webster University in Geneva, which for me will add another chapter in this long journey across media and information literacy cities. Media and information literacy must move beyond fact-checking as a technical exercise. MIL at city level should integrate critical literacy, emotional literacy, civic literacy, intercultural dialogue, because peace is not sustained by information correction alone. It is sustained by trust. MIL cities are not communication campaigns. They are preventive peace systems. They strengthen the cognitive and ethical capacities of community before tensions escalate. And that is the most effective form of violence prevention. To conclude, truth is not merely a moral aspiration, it is a civic necessity. When truth weakens locally, trust weakens. When trust weakens, social cohesion fractures. When cohesion fractures, violence becomes easier to justify. But when cities choose to invest in media and information literacy in schools, in youth engagement, in ethical AI governance, in digital resilience, they reinforce the foundations of peaceful coexistence. Peace is not only territorial, it is informational, and it becomes wherever communities, physical and virtual, decide to protect truth together. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Professor Agnès Pastirino, for your contribution communication. It was
Thank you, Emmanuel.
wonderful to hear you. Unfortunately, Professor Felipe has technical problems, but we continue. Before I give the floor to everybody, I return 2 words from what you have shared with us. That if AI is a new amplifier of what we face today, and we need to invest in fact checking, transparency, artificial intelligence, governance, and digital literacy. And we know that today we cannot limit AI. We need to govern, to have a how can I say, right guidance, so we can use information with intelligence, critical skill, so we can grow together. You have also highlight that youth must not be forgotten in this battle. You need to put them on the middle of this fighting, so they can be people who can help us govern the information and communication. They can be responsive, and also in their school, they can help people use information goodly. Thank you so much for your contribution. Before Professor Felipe not here, I will give the floor to everybody now to act, to ask questions, to contribute, to add ideas. And we can continue, begin with Professor Linda for her communication. I don't know if you have something to add or a question to ask her before we go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say that there's a lot of neuroscience behind the attraction that humans have when it comes to negative information. And I'm very grateful to the person who presented those facts, is that we are wired in many different ways, cellularly, structurally, and in terms of the way the synaptogenesis of our brains are made from evolution. We are attracted to doom scrolling, and we're attracted to negative information about people, places, and things. And those beliefs are much more difficult to eradicate and replace with more positive attributes than we think. And this is a difficult, it's a difficult dilemma for people who study what we're studying and who are interested in peace. It's something I need to deal with myself in many ways. But for today, I wanted to underscore that moral and ethical principles are sort of have been neglected for the last 25 years in schools. And now it's very important to get back to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Linda, for your contribution. We are very honored to have you today. I know that your agenda is very, very, very tight, but you are here today with us. Thank you so much for what you have brought today. We are going to see, with Professor Anna Thomas Williams. Yes.
Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to be here and to listen to all these wonderful scholars talk about this important issue. We need to address this. Yes, I've been more interested in the human side of the AI, who is behind it. Because those people who have bad intentions, they are going to use AI in a very bad way. And our brain is tricked to believe in things because there is this layer of protection that okay, I have to do this now. I have to act right now. And the internet is all the time telling us, act now, do it now. And we feel the urge because, we need them to be very well informed because there are constantly praise around us. They want to get us. They want to get us into trouble. They want to get us into our finances. So we need to educate. And I also learned so much from all of you about the importance of education, educating our students at school. Ethical principles is so important because these days we don't know who is who behind the screen. We don't know if it's a real person or if everything is fake. we needed to understand about ethics, and school is there to teach us. And so we needed to learn tools, AI tools, to go back to the principles of ethics, morality, and principles that will guide us to peace. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Professor Anna Thomas Williams, for your contribution. Education is the key to build peace. Thank you so much. Yeah. Professor Daniela Carledo, what's your word?
Thank you, Professor Emmanuel. Well, I just want to say that AI is not enough to provide a critical and human analysis grounded in values about situations that only we trust, we know, and we have the experience. So we need to be more conscious and sensitive about how to learn, how to use these tools to improve our qualities, but it's more human. It's not just a computer, it's not just a tool that we can see in front of the screen. So I think that Anna has the reason when she said that we need to work more with educational and values topics. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Daniela, for your contribution. We need to be conscient to improve our humanity behavior everywhere we are, even though we are in the age of AI. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Dr. Dinesh Babu from India. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Emmanuel. And as like what I told, we are in AI era, and artificial intelligence must serve a humanity, not control it. So while comes with media and information literacy, it must guide the technology with ethical responsibility. So together we can build informed cities that choose a peace over polarizations. So that's the
Thank you
point
so
which
much.
I said. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. We need to govern AI and use it to build peace in our countries, in the world. Yes. Yeah. Professor Agnes.
Hi, Emmanuel. Thank you. Thank you so much. So just, I think like it's a bit of a repetition of what I've already, think, explained more extensively. But I really believe that if we expect global policymakers to put guardrails to artificial intelligence, we're all gonna fail, because the policymaking scenario is like very varied. Is very like it might be too slow compared to the advancement of technology. There are a lot of limitations that it's like also an intercultural environment. So I really believe that local initiatives at city level, but also at individual level, are much needed right now in order to prevent violence and especially conflicts. So we need to be more aware of how much impact we can have even at an individual level. So personally, in my experience, I've been a lot in the global policymaking environment in different institutions. So I'm more and more aware of how that's a space for in dialogue, but at the other hand, the most powerful happens in our families, in our small communities, in our cities. So I strongly support the idea of media and information literacy cities because I feel it's much needed right now. And then we have been thinking a lot about truth and fake news, like, I mean, information that is not reliable or is not real. But the big challenge is the amplification. How this information is like can become out of control. It can be difficult to be verified. It can be so. I feel like AI is not only doesn't only challenges our morality. it puts also at risk, it has an incredible power in terms of amplification, because due to the technological advances that are so we need to be aware that it's also a technological challenge. It's moral, but it's also technological. And often at the tables of the policymakers, people who are good in the technology, or the best people, engineers, the best people in technology, are not there. And those ones are often in the industry sector, and are the ones making sure AI goes faster. So I hope there will be more people who are good I've heard of people resigning from companies of AI due to the fact that they see risks for humanity. So I hope that these more and more people who are nerd, or like very good with technology, would like to join the policy dialogue, or would like to create initiatives to make sure AI becomes a safe tool for all human beings. And I think it's our individual responsibilities to make a safe use of AI, but also to make sure it's a safe tool. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Agnes Pastirino, for your conclusion. You have said everything. Yes, we need to invite global government all over the world to make policies that help people to use AI with intelligence, critical skill, to build peace, where we can together communicate, grow together in our families, in our home, in our school, in our firms. Thank you so much for this exciting webinar. On the behavior of Professor Felipe, we want to thank everyone for what you have shared with us today. We continue to grow together, to work together, to share knowledge together, in order to see our whole world become one world where everybody can grow freely. I don't know if you have one word to share with us before we finish this word. One word. I will ask Professor Linda to share one word with us before you close the door.
I think that the one word I have is actually two words, and that would be information processing.
Information processing,
Yeah.
exactly. You need
Thank you.
to know that information need to be treated with attention, with intelligence, with humanity and ethics. Thank you so much, Professor Linda. Yeah, Professor Daniela, yeah, your one word from Mexico.
Well, difficult, but I don't know. I think communication is the key.
Communication is the key. Before we
Yeah.
born, the word is communication. Everything has
Yes.
a signification. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Professor Anna Thomas.
I think I will use the word safety because so many times we feel so unsafe online. We needed to build tools and to walk in firm ground. So safety is very important for education today.
Yes, thank you, safety. Exactly. Thank you so much for this word. It is a key word. And the last, no, yeah. Professor Dinesh?
Yes, in one word, it is ethically.
ethically. So you need communication, you need safety, you need ethics in our work. And Dr. Agnes.
Hi, Emmanuel. Yes, for me, it's peace. I feel this world really needs peace right now. So I feel the title of the webinar was the most appropriate for this purpose.
Okay, peace. This is the last word on which we can close this webinar. We need to be in peace in the world. You can have money, you can have a good job, we can have a good cities. If we don't have peace, we will never benefit from those things we have. Peace is the key. Thank you so much for this exciting webinar. I think that Professor Felipe will return back earlier or after, and thank you special by mail or by phone. We regret to have this technical problem today, but next time things will be better than today. Thank you so much. This is the
Thank
end of
you.
Thank you so
this
much.
meeting.
Have
Thank
a
you.
Thank
nice
you.
weekend,
Have a nice
everyone.
day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Thank you.
Bye.
you.
Thank
Bye bye.
you. Bye bye. Yes. OK. Professeur, merci beaucoup.